Need some high fives around here. Let's go. We need some energy. Here we go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. I've never had a sip of coffee in my life.
Really?
Yes.
This is all on oxygen.
True story. Yeah.
We all should be really afraid of it.
Good luck, guys. Good luck.
Now, what would Jesse Cole in 2025 tell Jesse Cole back in 2015 when this all got started?
Well, that was right before we went into $1.8 million in debt. We had to sell our house, empty out our savings account, sleep on an airbed, and grocery shop with $30 a week. So I would have said, don't do that. Don't do any of that. Luckily, I had an amazing wife who, we got married in October of 2015. In the next 2 months, we started the team. We sold 2 total tickets. By January of 2016, we got the call that we overdrafted our account and we were completely out of money. And so it was that, and I think a lot of people would have said, what do we do? But we had no options. At that point, we had a staff, a small staff that we were responsible for. We had a team that we were about to start. We had to go all in. And so, I think back there, we had a dream, we had a vision of what this could be, making baseball fun, creating something for the fans. We named the company Fans First Entertainment. We believed in doing every decision that would be the best for the fans. They just had to experience it. So back then, I would have just said, keep going, keep going. When I was a kid, my dad told me I was a 5-year-old kid coming up to bat, a nervous, shy, introverted kid. I'm like this now.
Yeah, what happened?
I was shy, and my dad said, I come up to the plate, and he yelled from the side and goes, Jess, swing hard in case you hit it. And I was like, what? And that mindset has stayed with me, to keep coming up to bat and take big swings and don't be afraid of missing. We have failed so many times over the last 10 years. We've had so many misses, but we keep showing up, and that's why I think we're here today.
So what goes through your mind where you see the sizzle, and now 10 of your games are going to be on ESPN platforms this spring and summer? Back when you first got started, you were going for one camera to be a part of this whole experience. Now you have cameras and phones and a television network covering your games. What goes through your mind now, seeing where that started to where you are now?
These guys know we always talk about the vision, and we talk about the fans first story. And I've shown them a few times the first video of us winning the championship in 2016, and it's me holding a phone on Facebook Live, shaking like this and doing all of the commentating. And the ball gets in, and the Bananas catch it, and they've won the Coastal Plain League championship. That was our broadcast on Facebook Live with me holding a shaky camera on it. No, you'd never imagine this. I think, we obviously had a big goal, and, it was just always about the fans. And every day show up, make it a better fan experience. Sell out one game. Could we sell out 5 games? Could we sell out all the games? Now how do we plus the experience every single day? And that's something we've learned from Walt Disney, is always plus the experience. And so, I think I told those, Jackson, I might have told you 3 years ago, we're going to sell out Fenway Park. And, I think it started having a bigger dream. And then it's like, you never want to selling out NFL stadiums. That's not someone ever would think about playing the game of baseball. Right. But, I believe it shows people that we're not afraid to fail. We're not afraid to do something that's never been done before. And hopefully it gives people hope that, they can achieve anything. And I truly believe this. I tell these guys all the time, and I think they know it. We're just getting started. We're in the first inning. And so whatever we believe we're going to try to do, it might be messy in the beginning, but we're going to get after it. And so to be on ESPN, we know as kids, we all played ball. And we watched ESPN, and we just, that big dream to be on ESPN. And now to see our biggest games in front of 81,000 people, Fenway Park, and, to look at these NFL stadiums, it's special. And I know we have an obligation for you guys and for ESPN to do it at the highest level. And it's hard. We do the broadcast ourselves. We do the tickets ourselves. We do the merchandise ourselves. We do the show ourselves. We do everything ourselves. And no one gave us a blueprint on how to do it. We had to figure it out. And it might be messy. The first game on ESPN last year, the transmission went out for the first 10 minutes. That's not a good start. I remember the anchors saying, it looks like the Bananas can't handle us. And I was like, oh no. But we got to the next game, and we figured it out. And we're going to get to the next game. And I think that's the key, to keep getting back up, going up to bat, and taking big swings.
Jackson, outside of the cool uniforms and the cool dances and the cool antics, what made you decide to want to be a part of Banana Ball?
The message, I think, first and foremost, the fans' first message. You look at Major League Baseball, and not dimming their light at all, but there's a barrier between fan and player that is, you can see every single time you go to a game. I ranked Major League Baseball stadiums for my job 3 years ago, and I could see it. And I could see the disconnect between the two, and being here, we're able to, you see his line after a game, and he's literally signing until he can't even write anymore, because every single kid wants Coach Rag's autograph. And it's like, that's the reason why we're able to do what we do. If we just went out there and played Banana Ball, cool, it's an amazing sport, but it's that connection that really makes it go to the next level.
Rag, speaking on that, because you were undrafted free agent, but you made the Washington Nationals. So you've gone from the Major League Baseball, almost the Major League Baseball experience, to this experience, what has that been like for you to say, hey, I wanted to play in the majors, but this is the majors, what the Savannah Bananas have been able to create and what they're able to do?
For the first time in my life, when I play baseball now, it's not to get to a different level. But every time I was growing up, it was like, okay, I want to play high school baseball, I want to play college baseball, I want to play professional baseball, I want to, and when you're in minor leagues, it's like everyone's just trying to grind to get to the big leagues. And we have such a cool dynamic in our clubhouse where everyone just wants to be there. No one wants to be anywhere else. You can ask pretty much any of our teammates, you got a contract right now by X MLB team, would you want to go play? All of us are like, no, this is exactly where I want to be.
Wow.
So for the first time in my life, I'm not striving to get to that next level. I can just enjoy where I'm at, and it is so much fun.
The dances.
Yeah.
Who comes up with that? Because I don't know if you got Paul Abdul from back in the day, or what,
Wow.
maybe Taylor Swift's choreographer now, whatever that is, but who comes up with these dances where you say, this fits the moment, this fits the mood, and everybody reacts to it?
Well, that's the whole team, and he talks about the clubhouse and our whole creative team. And I do want to double click on what he said and how much that means to me when he says that there's nowhere else they'd rather be. Because I think all of us, we all have these goals and aspirations to get promoted, to climb, to go somewhere else, to create something where people feel really safe and they feel a part of something. Every night we want to bring people together, all different ages, races, demographics, to just truly have fun, to not take themselves too serious. And to see with the players, whereas again, at every level you're competing against each other to get to the next level. That means a lot to me and Emily, so in building that. So thank you, Rack, for sharing that. Now without getting on emotional, because yes, it's been a full day, guys. We were on 60 Minutes last night. We're here today. It's been a full day, 24 hours.
This is what happens when Banana Ball takes over the country, Mike.
It's the thing about the dances, and again, the fun. It's all about the fun here, and we realize when you have fun, you perform better. We've seen it every step of the way. If you guys come to work and you're having fun, you're going to do better work. It happens. And so for us, the dances, it just started. I'll never forget with our first team in Gastonia, North Carolina. And people don't remember this. Everyone's like, overnight success, look at the Bananas. We had 10 years with a team outside of Charlotte that we never got one news piece. I would have had to beg to get ESPN to cover anything because we didn't deserve it. We didn't earn it. We were learning. And so I realized we had to create something that was different than a regular baseball game to get people to talk about it. So I said, all right, well, what's the normal thing of a baseball game? All right, you play a game, you get some hits, you get some strikeouts, you win the game, you lose the game. Well, what would be the exact opposite for players? What if they danced? So I had this idea. I was meeting with different people. I went to HR directors. I went to churches. I went to everyone. Will you please buy 5 tickets? I was like trying to get them to buy 5 tickets.
You got to go to church to get people to buy tickets. You're.
I was working hard, man. I was working hard. And finally, I never forget this HR director. She had 200 employees, and I wanted to get them all to come out to an outing. And she's like, none of our people really like baseball. And I go, it's not baseball. And she goes, well, what is it? I go, well, our players dance. She goes, really? And at that point, our players didn't dance. There was I completely made that up.
Sell the sizzle, then give them the steak.
Completely made that up. And she said, oh, that's really interesting. I go, well, will you come? She's like, no, we still won't come. And I was like, well, maybe I can still get our players to dance. And I'll never forget, I'm 23 years old. I'm a general manager of the worst team in the country. And before there was 200 fans coming to the games. There's $268 in the bank account. The team was a disaster. And so I took over this team. And our players show up at the first practice, and I went to this Perfect Step dance studio, and I got their lead choreographer. I said, can you teach our players to dance? And she goes, really? And I go, yeah. So I had her show up to the first practice, and I told the guys we're going to learn how to dance. And I watched every one of them, but 4, walk out into the bullpen and said, we're here to play ball. We're not here to dance. The 4 guys said, all right, whatever you need us to do. And so they learned the jump on it dance, which is the easiest dance in the world. And they did the jump on it dance that first night. And I watched the fans cheered. By the second night, I watched they're doing more autographs than any other player. By the third night, I'm in the crowd, and a husband and wife are talking. I'm walking through the grandstand, the husband's talking to his wife, and the wife goes, shut up, honey. They're about to dance. And at that point, I knew we were onto something. So the players kept dancing, they kept being more hobby. So then from there, that led into our breakdancing coach. That led to our Banana Nanas, our senior citizen dance team. That led to our twerking umpire. And then that led to our first ever 3-2-2 dance. In the third inning, the second pitch, the second batter. He's got a tattoo there, all right, which is crazy.
So don't forget.
It started with the simple Beyonce drop challenge. So our pitcher just dropped down. It's on the first season of Banana Land. Dropped down and threw a pitch. And it got millions of views. We're like, wait, they're doing that in a game now? And so we said, all right, well, what's another dance we could do? All right, follow another trend. What's another dance? And we just kept iterating. The greatest innovation happens from iteration. You can't innovate without start trying and experiment. So we just started doing more and more. And so every week, all of our players, our staff, our cast, our creative team looks at what are the most popular dances, what are unique things that we can do, how do we implement them in a game? And it's our whole team, and dance has now driven billions of views for our organization because we weren't afraid to try to get 4 guys to dance once, and then for them to keep taking chances and getting out there.
Who's that player that you say to yourself on our team, we can throw anything at that player and he'll do it for the Savannah Bananas?
On our team right now?
On your team right now?
Oh, we got a couple of those guys, but immediately comes to mind is Ty Jackson. Yeah, he's a character. Bill Leroy also. I wish you guys could see, and you'll probably see at some point, but like just what it looks like in our clubhouse, because I'm telling
Jackson's
you.
shaking his head from side to side.
Yeah, you probably don't want to see, but it would make a great reality show.
Yeah, Ty Jackson's down for anything. Okay, just last week, we had, oh my gosh, I'm blanking on his name, top draft prospect. Who do we have? Travis Hunter, thank you. Yeah,
Heisman Trophy winner, yeah, I mean, no big deal.
No big deal. We had him out at our game.
Who cares about him?
Yeah.
We had him out at our game on Friday, and he had to like learn to dance with us. And you can see, like, as he got there, like pretty shy. I would be too, kind of intimidating walking in and I'm like leading a dance in front of a bunch of people. It's not something you normally do. But when he walked on there, Ty Jackson just ambushed him. Just went up to him. Was he barking like a dog?
He was barking.
I think he was on all fours and like ran up to him barking like a dog and was just like so excited to see Travis Hunter there. But there's guys like that, Ty Jackson, Bill Leroy, that they'll do absolutely anything to entertain the fans, and it's just a joy to be around.
Well, and these guys, they say yes to almost everything. I mean,
Okay.
Rack did a video earlier this year to JoJo's Too Little Too Late, and we actually had a hose spraying him with water. And he did it under the lights on a night that was 40 degrees, and it's pouring on him, and he's nailing this lip sync, soaking wet, and then gets up and hits a laser to right field.
Right.
It's like, that's a plus. We've never done an entrance while someone getting soaked, and Rack's like, I'm on it, I got it. And it's the type of mentality.
Real quick, Jackson, based on that, because it is about baseball, but it is about the fun. How are you able to continue to do this where you can be showmen, but if you're bad baseball players, the show only goes so far? You guys are really freaking good as baseball players. How do you find that balance between being a showman but making sure you're the best baseball player for Savannah Bananas?
I think it comes down to moments for sure. You choose your moments where you know you can entertain versus where you know you have to make the play. Sometimes in the ninth inning or in a tight spot, like you know you have to make the baseball play to perhaps win the game. And I think that's the differentiator between Globetrotters, Bananas, where like if they're at the end of the game, they're not like gonna make the right play to win. They're already gonna win, right? So it's like we choose our times, like the walk-ups that we do and whatever. Once that walk-up is over, we are in baseball mode, and like we always have been our entire lives. But during that walk-up, we go into the entertainment mode where we're like, okay, we can be whoever we want in this moment, be the character, be the Taylor Swift, the Hannah Montana, whatever you're doing, the silly stuff, but you end up locking in.
Yeah, I'll weigh in on that too. I think it ultimately comes down to what's best for the fans. And when we are playing good baseball and it's competitive, that's good for the fans. When there's a real competition and we are trying to win, that is best for the fans. Sure. So when it comes down to those moments in the game where you're like, okay, if I miss this ball right now, the game's going to be dragged out longer, and we're not going to be able to be, we're not going to be in the game anymore because if I miss this ball, then we blow the lead. Like those are the moments where you catch the ball and you go in. That's what's best for the fans. It's best to keep the game moving. It's more entertaining that way. There are times in the game though where you're in the third inning, it's a tie game, and you have to walk up to home plate with rain pouring on you, singing to JoJo, and it's like, all right, that's what's best for the fans in this stage of the game. So that's what it comes down to.
You mentioned, Jesse, about being best for the fans, and a lot of your inspiration came from Walt Disney. Now you have a chance to have something on the Disney platform when it comes to your baseball games this year, whether it's ESPN, ESPN2, Disney Plus, see I'm a show for the company, ESPN Plus, Google Plus, as well. What it was about Walt Disney and what he was able to create that really inspired you and has helped create the Savannah Bananas?
It was everything. And you know, in my office, I have over 40 books on Walt Disney, every magazine. I have so many posters of him. I've went to his family museum. I've studied him. And you know, his vision is maybe the strongest vision of any person in business and life. You know, he said it's kind of fun to do the impossible. and everything he did from the impossible. You know, the first full-length animated film, the first color short, you know, Disneyland, the first real theme park. I mean, he just kept dreaming big and actually executing on that dream. That was the big difference. We all can dream big, but he was obsessed with the attention to detail on everything. And he would walk the park. I mean, there's a reason why he put his apartment above the fire station at Disneyland, so he could walk the park with the guests. And he figured out, you know, if I eat a hot dog, all right, when am I finishing the hot dog so the wrapper can go in the trash can, have the trash can a certain amount of steps from where the hot dog stand is. You know, when he went on a ride, he would go on Jungle Cruise. He said, whenever I go on a ride, I always ask what's wrong with this thing and how can it be improved. And he went on it once, the story, he said, he went on it once, it was supposed to be a 4-minute ride, and it was 2 minutes and 30 seconds. So you better believe that the park director heard from him that day. Mm-hmm. And it was that obsession. And it, you know, I think about what he does and the dreaming and the executing and the obsession on the guest experience. He would never sacrifice what was best for the guests. And that's what made Disney into an amazing brand. And so I look up to them, and you know, eventually we're going to have a real Banana Land, not just a TV show. And we're going to try it. I'm going to put an apartment somewhere above a fire station, and I'm going to walk that park every day and try to create something truly magical for fans. And we've all been touched by Disney. We've all had experiences with ESPN that just wow us and make us feel alive. And I just want to make that happen every single day.
Give them a nice big round of applause. Number two is somebody who grew up a Harlem Globetrotters fan. I don't think that's a fair description for what you're doing, because it got to the point where it wasn't competitive when they played the Washington Generals.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to call you a Harlem Globetrotter of the 21st century, but what would you call the Savannah Bananas of the 21st century?
The greatest show in sports.
You heard it. Jackson Olson and RobertAnthony Cruz.
Thank you, guys.
Savannah Bananas.